Just a couple things that he did in his own diary, because some of this stuff is coming out. He drew a photo of himself in his diary, and he drew a picture of himself. And so he drew himself and he drew his own reflection in the mirror. But his reflection that he drew in the mirror of himself was the devil. So that shows you clearly like something is going on there. And then he also had a target paper, the bullseye that you shoot and you practice with. And in the center of it, please forgive me, he had an image of our Lord Jesus Christ. So he's like shooting at our Lord. So these are some very, very clear signs, obviously, of derangement, but of great hatred towards Jesus Christ, even hatred of self, and, this connection with the devil. Now, I say it's kind of obvious to me that there's possession, obsession here. A lot of people today don't want to acknowledge that. They don't even want to acknowledge that the devil exists. And we have some serious problems just on that front. So another thing that's come out is that he was on SSRIs. This is the medicine for like clinical depression. That alone is a huge problem. I'm not sure if you're aware of that, but psychology has really been changing, certainly since like the introduction of Prozac and some of those kinds of medicines. It is estimated right now that at least in the United States, about 20% of our population is on this medication. That's 1 out of 5. 1 out of 5 people on the streets is basically having to dampen their emotions and what's going on in them just so they can like get through the day. I mean, this is a 500% increase of the 1990s. And ironically, this drug was supposed to not make you feel as depressed, and yet we have more depression, more suicides, more of all these kinds of craziness going on. So I don't think these drugs are working, but I think a lot of times what happens is if you graph them on curves, at the same time what's rising is the practice of the occult. And all of the satanic and diabolical elements in culture and society are increasing. And a lot of times, clinical psychology doesn't diagnose this as a spiritual malaise, but rather just wants to say, oh, well, you're depressed and take these meds, which obviously doesn't solve the problem and in fact worsens it.